camera crew, welcome back to today's video, and today I'm going to be talking about the best two cameras for under and at $500. So the first camera I'm going to start with is actually one that I use quite often right now, and that is the Nikon D3300. I have had this camera for a few years now. It's not the only camera that I use, but it's definitely one that I use a lot, and I absolutely love this camera for the price. This camera ranges anywhere from $300 to $500 depending on where you can find it. I know on Amazon you can find it for even less than $300. This is an older camera, but a very good camera. It came out in about 2014, I think it was released. So it's been out for a while, but as long as you take care of your camera, it should last for a very long time. Now, the other camera I'm going to be talking about, I have used in the past, but I don't currently own it now because it is also very similar to the Nikon D3300, and that is the Nikon D3500. This is a very good camera to use, especially for beginners, as well as the Nikon D3300. This one is a little bit newer. It came out in 2018. And this one ranges anywhere from $500 to $800. So it is a little bit more expensive, but you can for sure find this camera for $500 or maybe even less depending if it has been slightly used or anything like that. Or you can get a discount, and also with the holidays coming up with Black Friday, you could probably get a better deal as well. Now, both of these cameras are extremely easy to use. They're great for beginners. I was using the Nikon D3300 back like 5 years ago when I had kind of first started. I was using a cheaper camera than the Nikon D3300, and I needed to upgrade, but yet still have one that wasn't so expensive and still good quality. So I got the Nikon D3300, and it has been amazing. And it's great for beginners, easy to use, and as well as the Nikon D3500. Both cameras are very similar. They both have 24 megapixels. They also have kind of the same structure. Some of the buttons are on the opposite side of the camera, so some on the left and some on the right. The Nikon D3300 is on the right, and the Nikon D3500, I believe, is on the left. So they're the same kind of buttons, but just different placement. You can also shoot in RAW and JPEG with these cameras, which is awesome for editing. If you edit your pictures, I always shoot in RAW because it just gives a better image quality in my opinion, and sometimes with lighting, it's different in RAW and in JPEG, so I like to have both of those options. So both cameras do JPEG and RAW. Both cameras give you every kind of setting. They give you portrait setting, they give you aperture setting, they do manual, automatic, flash, fast moving, cinema, all different types of settings on your camera. So no matter what you are shooting, whether you're shooting people, objects, nature, animals, these cameras can do wonders for both. Now, I don't know much about the video aspect of these cameras. I only know the photography, but I have done some research and looked online, and people say that they are great cameras for video as well, especially for beginners. Now, I love these cameras because they are just so simple to use. All your buttons are right in the same area. You know, you can control your aperture and your shutter speed very easily, and those are the two key components to taking a photo, I feel like, in my opinion. As long as you have your aperture and your shutter speed where you want it, you can take a fabulous photo. So both cameras exceed well in the beginner aspect of a camera because you never want all your buttons in different places, and you want it to be easy to use, especially if you are a beginner or even an expert and have done it for years like myself. These cameras are just amazing for any type of level that you're at. Now, besides the placement of the buttons on the camera, there are a couple other differences, and one of the differences is your ISO. The Nikon D3500 has a higher ISO than the Nikon D3300. A higher ISO is going to help with shooting in low light background situations, things like that. So if you find yourself shooting in lower light backgrounds, the Nikon D3500 does have a higher ISO, which will help with that. Another difference between the two cameras is something that's pretty standard when you think about it, is the Nikon D3500 is going to just be a little bit better than the Nikon D3300 because it is newer. When they made the Nikon D3300, they had made it like 4 years before. So there's new advances in the Nikon D3500 than the Nikon D3300 because it was made newer, and the Nikon D3300 was made for like 4 years before the Nikon D3500. So you're gonna just have a better quality camera because it is newer. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.